Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gym Leader Challenge League Finals match at Full Grip Games featuring Alex Carpenter on the left and myself, Ben Morse, on the right. We are both playing a grass deck, but our decks are extremely different. On the left, Alex is playing Wo-Chien Turbo Snail deck. You can see the Hazardous Greed attack. If you get to 3 or fewer cards left in your deck, meaning you have to pretty much mill all of your resources, get down to only 3 cards in your deck, you can double snipe 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and that is the strategy of Alex's deck. There's a lot of cards that, discard a lot of cards from your own deck, Explorer's Guidance and Hapu, which say, look at the top 6 cards and put 2 of them into your hand, discard the rest, Professor's Research, things like that to allow you to get to that low deck size, mid to late game, and then, make a comeback or sweep with the Wo-Chien. So we're going to see if Alex is able to pull that off. And Alex going first only had the recycle energy attachment to the active. No other bench Pokemon. I love to see that. And I am able to get pretty much everything I want, all the Pokemon I want at least, set up on my board. But I have to pass without playing any supporter, unfortunately. I get the whole gang, Grookey, Bulbasaur, and Turtwig out. But, yeah, no supporter for turn. Alex, on his side, does have the Green's Exploration, which is one of the best supporter setup cards in the game. If you have no Pokemon with abilities in play, you can search for any 2 trainer cards, and Alex is going to grab that Buddy Buddy Poffin and an Artisan Stadium. I discarded my own Artisan off of Quick Ball because I had pretty much every basic I wanted, and I wanted to, limit Alex's reach for basics as much as possible. So Alex went ahead and grabbed it himself and is going to get a Wurmple, a Roselia, and a Turtwig down. Wurmple also not super commonly seen in some grass decks, but the Stage 2 Beautifly does have an ability that allows you to draw, fill your hand up to 6 cards. So another way for Alex to continuously draw through his deck. Has the town map to see what he has prized. Does have that Silcoon prized, the middle evolution of the Wurmple line, as well as 2 energy and a Scoop Up Net. Nothing too consequential for Alex is prized there. Decent grab of Green's Exploration for him to get set up. And I'm going to use my own Artisan to search my deck, and I am going to end up just passing right back to Alex. I have nothing in hand. At this point in the game, I have all 3 of my Stage 2s in my hand. I have Venusaur, Torterra, and Rillaboom in my hand, but no supporters, no evolution search, nothing to even help me. If I had just one evolution search for a Grottle, then I would be off to the races, searching evolutions with Sunshine Grace ability. But yeah, unfortunately, such a strong start of basics, but nothing after that to back it up, no supporters. Over to Alex's side, he's going to continue setting up his board. He does have a Roserade evolution in his hand, able to use the Le Parfum ability, which allows him to search for any card in his deck, and he's going to target down Ball Guy, so he can set up the rest of his board while I'm kind of stalled out over there. So unfortunate for me, and Alex is going to continue getting set up here. He does fill his bench fully with that Zarude and with that Cherubi, and he's going to use the Ultra Ball to find the Grottle that I was talking about. The Sun-Drenched Shell ability, one of the best abilities for grass-type decks, allows you to search for any grass Pokemon during your turn from your deck once per turn. Allows you to find all the evolutions you need, find the Pokemon you need turn after turn. Fantastic ability for grass decks. He's going to play Level Ball to get Badoo out of the deck just to thin it out, no room on the bench for it, as well as the Cherrim into hand. One of those was searched with Sunshine Grace, and next turn he'll be able to evolve into that Cherrim. And I drew for turn, and I'm going to use Artisan again to search my deck. Nothing. What I drew was, nothing good, nothing I could use again. So Artisan, I'm going to put Tapu Bulu on my bench. At this point, I just want to thin it out of the deck. increase odds if even a little bit to draw out of this terrible hand. And I pass right back to Alex. He's going to continue getting set up. He evolves into that Cherrim with the Spring Bloom ability, which states as often as you like, you can attach grass energy to your Pokemon. He's going to use Sunshine Grace to get Gossifleur out of the deck. Won't be able to bench it because he is bench locked, unfortunately. And is just going to play a Hex Maniac to shut off all abilities in play for the next turn, and pass right back over to me. So both of us not finding any energy. Alex has a stronger evolution setup, but no energy to be found. Can't be attacking yet. I finally top deck an energy, but that's still not what I want. I really want a supporter or an evolution search. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach to Tapu Bulu and pass right back over to Alex. And Alex continues to not find energy or a usable supporter either, I don't think. He's going to use Sunshine Grace, Grottle's ability, to thin out his deck even more, grabbing Torterra and evolving because pretty much all the Pokemon he could need, he's already gotten out of his deck, just needs supporters and energies to start attacking. This is the funniest and slowest start to a game I've had in a long time, where both of us are just passing back and forth, and you can see there I draw another card and pass right back to Alex. His turn yet again. We've gone through like 5 or 6 turns each. Alex draws, he passes right back to me. Riveting gameplay, like you hate to brick, but at least when you're both bricking, this game is kind of like in an interesting spot. Both of us have decent board setups. Alex obviously a little ahead with his evolutions, but I get a second energy down on Tapu Bulu off of that top deck, pass right back to Alex. Alex finally top decks his own energy. Still nothing else. See a lot of Pokemon and recovery cards in his hand. It's pretty much the same on my end as well. And yep, right there, I just top deck a Super Rod. I have lots of Pokemon in hand and nothing else going on. So I'm going to pass right back to Alex. I've lost track of how many cards that has been. Alex top decks a rare candy, so he's able to put Beautifly with the Stoked Straw ability into play to allow him to draw up to 6 cards each turn. But he already has 6 cards in hand, so you can't even use it. Just another evolution. And finally, I top deck a supporter in Arven. Arven will be able to find me an evolution card, so I can get Grottle into play and just finally see some progress on my board. I'm going to use Arven to grab Floatstone as my tool and Evolution Incense as my item, and immediately going for that Grottle. And I already know the play I am planning on making here. I have all the stage 2 Pokemon in my hand, so I'm going to use Grottle's Sunshine Grace ability to get Le Parfum Roserade, and then I'm going to use Roserade's ability to search my card for any deck, and I'm going to grab that rare candy, and I'm going to evolve into that Venusaur, doubling up all of my basic energy. So now, with Jungle Totem ability in play, my Tapu Bulu has all the energy it needs attached to it to attack. I'm going to put Floatstone on my active Bramblin, retreat into Tapu Bulu, and I actually get to take the first prize after many, many turns of going back and forth of passing between me and Alex. He obviously looked ahead in the in the board setup, didn't have any energy, and yeah, ironically enough, I was able to take the first prize. But Torterra is coming up, and he does have the Recycle energy as well as another Grass energy he top decked to attach to that Torterra, and he'll be able to take a return knockout on this Tapu Bulu. Going to use Ordinary Rod to put back that Wo-Chien and a single Grass energy. And I believe Alex just wants to do that so he can thin his hand out a little to use the Stoked Straw ability on Beautifly. Yep, he's going to draw, I think, just 2 cards. Does find a Hapu, which allows him to look at the top 6 cards of his deck, choose any 2 there, and discard the rest. And now this deck, you'll see it how it goes throughout the game, but you have to be very knowledgeable of what resources are in your deck, what you've already used as you go through your deck and discard pieces, because a lot of those pieces Alex discard, he has to make the decision, okay, I'm not going to need this card or that card for the remainder of the game, to win. So you have to be very careful when you're only choosing 2 out of 6. It could come back to bite you if you make the wrong decision. So deck knowledge is very important. Alex going to use a quick ball to get rid of a shaman, just to thin his hand out even more. Continue progressing in this game, and he's going to use Evo Press to take his first knockout onto my Tapu Bulu. I'm going to go up with my Bramblin that has the Float Stone attached. I top deck a Hisuian Heavy Ball. And I'm going to use Grottle's Sunshine Grace ability to continue evolving my board up. I'm going to put that Thwacky down. And then Torterra is going to be my attacker of choice for this turn. Since I have 4 evolution Pokemon in play, Evo Press will be doing 200 damage and enough to take the knockout onto Torterra. And since Venusaur's Jungle Totem ability is active, that 1 energy on Torterra does fulfill the 2 energy cost of the Evo Press attack. So I'm still right back there in this game, have just what I need to continue attacking. I have Rillaboom in hand for next turn. Unfortunately, my Bramblegast is prized as well as my Zarude, so I'm going to use Super Rod to put Tapu Bulu back in the deck, but I'm going to use Artisan to immediately get him back on the bench. I don't have any other basic Pokemon outside of Badoo left in my deck at this point, and I do have Teammates in hand as my supporter for turn. I'll play my Hisuian Heavy Ball just to take a look at the prizes. Maybe Zarude wasn't prized. Sorry, I might have misremembered that. I decided not to take anything off of Hisuian Heavy Ball. And I will use Evo Press for the knockout onto that Torterra. Notice I didn't play any of the cards I grabbed off of Teammates with my after I used it. So I can't remember what I grabbed, but I remember grabbing, I think I grabbed an Avery for the next turn. You know, I just kind of want to disrupt Alex's board a little bit. And I think I also might have grabbed a Guzma, you know, just to have some options. Or maybe I grabbed an Energy because, you know, I might need an Energy attachment next turn. Although Rillaboom is coming into play. So I can't specifically remember what I grabbed, but I go down to 4 prizes. Over onto Alex's side. He does evolve into that Eldegoss, which allows him to search out 2 grass energies from his deck. And then he's going to use Artisan to bench Wo-Chien. And already his deck is looking a little small. But at this point in the game, I am not expecting Wo-Chien to be able to attack right now. I've never played against this deck, so I might be misplaying against it. But Alex does have the Explorer's Guidance to discard, to look at the top 6 cards of his deck, put 2 in his hand. It's identical to Hapu. He has a tough choice here. He does have Versus Seeker, Super Rod, Revitalizer, U-Turn Board, Cynthia, and Caitlyn. So pretty important resources here. I think a lot of people would immediately eye up that Versus Seeker to keep. But Alex decides that, no, he doesn't need that Versus Seeker. He's going to let it go. I know he has Palpad in his hand still, so he knows exactly what resources he has left. He's going to value that U-Turn Board, as well as the Super Rod, that recovery item. So, you know, Alex knows his deck very well and is playing it, you know, excellently. He does attach the Recycle and a Grass Energy to the Wo-Chien. He only has 3 cards left in deck after that Explorer's Guidance. I was not expecting Wo-Chien to be coming in this turn, and my Thwacky is looking extra tasty over there on the bench. Here comes the Wo-Chien with that Hazardous Greed, and you see, you know, once supporters did start being played, how quickly this deck can get to 3 cards left in their deck, you know, and Alex is going to target down that Thwacky immediately and is going to think about where to put the other 120. But now Alex is already down there, and he could, with between Clara, Super Rod, things like that, he can, and Recycle Energy, Eldegoss. Alex has such a strong setup, he can continue using Wo-Chien, and I'm looking a little in trouble now. You know, I was not expecting that to happen as fast. You know, kind of happened quicker than I was expecting. He's going to put 120 on that Tapu Bulu, which is kind of a smart decision, because now if I want to attack with Tapu Bulu, it would knock itself out by doing 30 damage to itself. but it might have been a good decision for Alex to knock out the Roserade, because then I would limit my Evo Press damage. But I attach a second energy to Torterra anyways, so now my second attack Hammer In is able to be used, because I know Alex is going to start knocking out my evolution Pokemon. I just want to be able to tank with this Torterra in the active as long as possible and hope Torterra can carry me the rest of the way. Alex immediately playing that Clara, which allows him to put 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energy cards from his discard into his hand. And that just means, between Cherim and U-turn board on the Zarude, it's guaranteed for him to attack with this Wo-Chien again. And he's looping it. I played Avery, which I thought would be more disruptive before I thought Wo-Chien was going to come out. I was hoping to stall, but, Alex was already farther in his deck, and it went by faster than I was expecting. The Avery didn't really do anything, so Alex is going to bench Badu and Shaman, thinning out his own hand, putting him into play. He's going to play Palpad here to put his deck up to 4 cards, so not, unless he draws some, then Wo-Chien won't be able to use its, secondary effect attack of sniping. But he also has, if he has less than 5 cards in hand, he can draw with Beautifly, Stoked Straw, which is what he is going to do here. I'm going to take a look at his resources, see what's down, see how I can even, get around this thing. He's down to 2 cards in his deck now. I'm taking a look at his discard pile to see what recovery options are gone, what supporter recursion options are gone. He's down Guzma, down Versus Seeker, down Palpad. Here comes Wo-Chien yet again, knocking out the Roserade and the Bramblin, which is unfortunate because on that last turn, I took Bramblegast off the prizes, so I would have been able to evolve it and give it, some big HP to maybe not die to, Wo-Chien's attack. But unfortunately, Alex knocks it out right there. He has damage set up on Tapu Bulu. He only has 2 prize cards remaining, but, Venusaur and Torterra both have a lot of HP, aren't going to die right away to Wo-Chien's attacks. And there might be a way for me to continue tanking out, his deck. He's not doing tons of damage to the active, though that Zarude on the bench is being powered up. I bench my own Zarude just so I can have a secondary attacker, because, I can't attack with Tapu Bulu anymore. I play N here to put us both down to a lower hand size. It doesn't matter as much for Alex, because he has Beautifly's ability to draw up to 6. But I just am not drawing the cards I need to really close out this game. I know one key piece I would love to see is, like a Versus Seeker for a teammates, or even my Luxurious Cape to add 100 HP to one of my Pokemon. If I can get Luxurious Cape onto this Torterra, I'm kind of in a stronger spot to maybe close out this game. I'm going to use Turffield there to thin out Bramblegast from my deck and use Evo Press to knock out his Wo-Chien. But I go down to 2 prizes here. We're both at 2 prizes. And he can't take 2 prizes this turn because, the 120 double from Wo-Chien could only knock out the Tapu Bulu, so I'm safe for at least another turn. Can he take 2 prizes before I take 2 prizes? And with this Zarude in the active, those 2 attacks with Wo-Chien did put my Torterra in range of the Jungle Whip attack, doing 160 damage, just enough to knock out my Torterra. But I've lined up an attachment on my own Zarude, and Alex is checking his deck with Turffield to see what resources he has left. And Alex is eyeing up his own Hex Maniac, which is the last thing I wanted to see. I really needed my Jungle Totem Venusaur's ability in play this next turn so I could take a knockout with my Zarude with just an extra attachment. So this Hex Maniac is really going to throw me off here. Alex goes down to 1 prize card remaining. all of his energy did get returned to his hand. So I know that there is a chance for me to still close this game out. As unlikely as it may seem, there is still technically a route where Alex whiffs an attack on the following turn, or I get Luxurious Cape to, survive another attack. There I was checking my resources. Luxurious Cape is in the deck. I'm going to attach to Zarude, and even though I won't be able to attack this turn, I'm going to put all of Alex's energy on the bottom of his deck and, just pray that Beautifly won't be able to draw into the energy he needs. My Iono to 2 does not allow me, what I need. There's an escape rope, but I don't want to put any of my benched Pokemon to their active because then I won't be able to get rid of them. And now Alex's abilities are back on. I just have to pass and hope that Alex whiffs the attack here. He's eyeing up how many cards are left in his deck. Looks like there's around 10 cards in his deck. 1 card in his hand. And he's going to use Beautifly to draw. If he can find Clara, there it is, or a couple energy. Yep. Lots of energy and Clara found off of the draw. Attached with Cherim to the Zarude to knock out my own Zarude and take his final prize. Alex taking the win. You could see the threat that was Wo-Chien, how quickly it can come into play when your opponent maybe isn't thinking you have the gas to get there. Shout out Z-Man Cuddles, which Alex has said he got the deck idea from. I will link deck list below. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. Subscribe if you like GLC, if you like Gym Leader Challenge content. Please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and we love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.